George Kittle's dad, Bruce Kittle, on the show. He does an incredible job of what I call conscious parenting, because he has to be consciously doing it, but he's training his son using unconscious techniques that we use in hypnotherapy, or when we are working in sports hypnosis. Visualization is the language of the unconscious mind, pictures, images, symbols, and creating an experience within. So in the first video, I took you through how he does that in a family huddle, which is a great symbolism for the team huddle. So that when George is on the field with the team or on the sidelines, the moment he does that, it activates that same state within him. And if he can get his team to breathe in and out with him, to connect with him, he can entrain them to him as well. You'll even see in the huddle, he'll say, breathe out, breathe out doubt, breathe in strength, breathe out weakness, whatever it is, release it. He takes it into from the inner world to outer real life onto the field. So he's an incredible athlete. But I got to take it to the father because Bruce started this all. And so George gives us a story in this episode that when he was young, he didn't really know how to communicate that well. He admits that. And his dad was in Oklahoma while he was in Iowa. So even that distance made it very difficult for father and son to connect. But instead of giving up, instead of just saying, well, that's how kids are, just let him do what he wants to do. He's in sports, whatever, he's going to be fine. His dad found a different avenue to reach his son. He started writing letters to him. This is brilliant. This is a wonderful tool for you to use, to copy, to put those unconscious suggestions into the mind of your child. When you're parenting, you want to think about, what kind of adult do I want to raise? What kind of mind do I want my child to have? Is it one that's resilient, that's able to adapt quickly, that can bounce back from setbacks, that has life fulfillment, that can find joy in multiple areas? What I am describing to you is called mental capital or psychological capital. And it is important. Those people who exhibit high levels of those traits live those lives that are happier, more fulfilling. Their immune system is healthy, right? Their health, their emotional and their physical well-being. So this is why this is so important for me to share with you, because I want to break this down. I don't even know that the family realizes how deep this is. And this is just from a few minutes of breaking this stuff down. So if you haven't watched the one where I break down the family's huddle while the dad is taking them through creative visualization, definitely do that and apply those techniques to yourself. And you can apply them with your children or your spouse or the people that you manage. If you're a leader at work, utilize it before you have meetings with your team. Okay, so now let's take this back to Bruce. So writing, he writes letters to connect with his son. Writing, journaling, reading is an unconscious process where we bypass the critical mind and we can get into the feeling, the experiential brain, the part of the brain that Steven Spielberg says, I daydream all day, every day for a living. And that's how I bring these amazing characters and creatures to the screen that you believe is real. Because he believed it was real in his mind through firing that data between the neurons, the synapses in his brain. And so that's what Bruce as a father is doing in his child's brain. Seeding the I am, I can, I will mindset, right? Building up that resilience. So just by connecting with his son through letters, later on in life, George says, I probably could use that for my pre-game ritual. And Netflix does an incredible job of putting this on their Netflix shorts. You should see it online where you can recap it. But definitely watch the episodes too, because you can experience the whole thing. This sequence and the visualization sequence is exactly what clients experience when they're going through a visualization session or hypnotherapy session. It is that imagery, the pictures, the emotion, the symbolism, right? You can hear the white noise of the crowd, but you're so focused on the goal that it doesn't even disturb you. And that's how we train the mind and body for performance. We throw all those distractions to you and we play out every scenario so that when it comes to game time, you are in the zone, you're in the pocket. And so the use of black and white and putting George in color when he comes into reality and back in black and white and reality, it's a wonderful juxtaposition of the conscious and the unconscious mind. Now, the unconscious mind is where the life script is housed. And it affects over 85, 90, even some experts say 95% of your day to day. It influences over 95% of how you experience that game or that play or life in general. So you better start learning how to train up your unconscious mind, how to connect with it and make sure it's congruent with your conscious goal. And that is what Bruce is doing. Bruce Kittle is incredible at doing this and doing it from such a place of love. So if you look at the letters, you'll see it. And it's really awesome how he does it. He puts images, pictures, and symbols, the language of the unconscious mind, and they're all geared towards that goal of winning, getting, that end zone, right? It's all in the goal of winning. And he has great mantras. He even says, pounce the Packers. Like you could just hear that replaying in your mind. He uses anchoring techniques. He doesn't even probably realize it, or maybe he does. For example, he says, when you go through the portal, now, you don't have to give a direct suggestion as to what the portal is, or you can, but you can live it as inferential, which I love to do with my clients. So you see that Netflix then cuts to when George in real life goes through the double doors of underneath the stadium. As he's entering, it says 49ers, San Francisco 49ers, entering the portal. Bam, the unconscious starts to activate. All that work starts to activate and come to conscious awareness into outer reality and awake life. See how that works? So then what does George do after that? But before I get to that, his dad says to embrace the joy. Bring in the joy. I love that. I use that a lot because when you are in a joyful state of mental awareness, you are present, you are engaged moment to moment, right? You're living for that now. You're in it fully. Mind, body, soul, senses, everything. Activate. And then he says, after that, be explosive, but go into beast mode. And that is awesome too. And so then we see congruency and alignment because his family has done this work together. It's showing. So what he does to continue that on, and we'll get to his beautiful wife, Claire, and how she's important in this. You'll see him. He goes out into the field before the game, way ahead of time. He centers himself. He's breathing in and out, and all the distractions and the chaos is starting to come into the stadium. And he's visualizing again and activating those suggestions, positive suggestions that his father implanted into the unconscious mind. That's how it works, from the visualization and also from the writing. So this is how you bypass that critical mind, bypass the ego, bypass all of that, although ego is very important in sports. It's not saying that we're going to neutralize it. We're just first going right to the heart space. And he activates it. He activates. And when the heart and the brain are operating as one organ, again, this is the state from which to create. That means from which to achieve, from which to succeed. This is like you're untouchable. Like Michael Jordan hitting those shots, nobody can stop him. He's unstoppable. He's in the zone. That's when everything organically in the body, tissues, bodies, organ, mind, body, soul, everything is operating as one powerful mechanism. It's pretty awesome. And you can do that in the state of hypnotherapy when you're doing hypnotherapy, which is wonderful. Then you see George go like this, and he's hitting his thighs and connecting. He's connecting the mind and the body once again to become one forceful operating unit, operating in the zone as one. And then you also see that he mentions praying to those who have passed before him, his loved ones, and asking for their protection over himself, his family, and his teammates. That altruistic concern and love and protection and connection to others and care for others. Gratitude and appreciation activate heart-brain coherence. It's pretty amazing, right? So that is a wonderful tool to use. The field of neurotheology, what happens to your mind and body when you're in a positive relationship to God, is phenomenal. There's a video on my YouTube about that as well. And everything I mentioned before about becoming more resilient, adaptable, flexible, all of that, having more life fulfillment, better health, overcoming even the most difficult news, managing through adversity well, all of that comes into play. So then you see him come to his wife, right? They do this thing every single time. And the beautiful Claire gives him that love, that connection, that kiss, similar to what dad and mommy do. Um, that psychological safety, support, and unconditional, no matter what you do out there, we're still gonna love you. Just like Kobe Bryant's dad did to him. And he said, that's when I knew game over. I was unstoppable. I was willing to fail. Because there's no, when you have that certainty in your family, that foundation, you're willing to fail. Failure is like, you're like, come on, let's go. I'm willing to take that chance. So that's when you'll see the Kobe and the Michael Jordans take that shot that everybody else is like, oh, don't throw me the ball necessarily. I don't want to miss. They're willing to miss, and that's why they succeed. They've done it enough times, right? And then what does she do? What they call that violent love, which is hilarious, how she pushes them out to the field and says, let's go get him. And, he's ready to go. He's in the zone. So I hope that that you enjoyed that breakdown, because I did want to do this also so that you could see how you could activate this for your children, for yourself. Game time is anything. It could be a presentation you're about to deliver, a very difficult meeting you're about to have, an engagement you're about to have that you want the best outcome. To Bruce's family, because you're the head of this family, and mom and dad, you've done an amazing job. And it shows, it's a true testament of what comes out, what greatness can come forth when you build minds that thrive from an early age. So, and to Claire, wow, you are a force. You are an athlete yourself. And I'm sure you bring a lot of that into the mental game, and how you are part of building up your husband's psyche, and the support and the resiliency that comes as part of that. It is just beautiful to watch. So thank you for sharing your family with ours, with the rest of us. And we're so happy to watch you on the show, and all the other beautiful families that are on the show. We hope to see more episodes, more things to come from Receiver, from Netflix. Thank you for bringing it to us, Netflix. You did an amazing job. Bravo to those editors, especially in those sequences. What an amazing job. I'm Jessica with Be You Bloom, and I look forward to connecting with you soon.